Good evening. Dave Whitner here with the Denver Area Council, and we're here with our Scouts BSA virtual roundtable this evening. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes, and we're letting people have just a little extra time here so they can log in and make sure they go. So 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and start with our program. We're waiting for everyone to log in. Make sure that you like our presentation. If you like it, make sure you put that out there. Also, if in the comment section, if you can put your name and the unit number you're representing. It's always great to know which units are out there. Due to our format tonight, we won't be able to take questions live, but again, put them in the comments, questions, and we'll have people to go there. Our main topic tonight is advancement. So we will get going here in about another 4 minutes, allowing people some time, extra time to log in and make sure they get themselves comfortable and ready for an evening of information on advancement. Again, we'll be starting in about 4 minutes. Members of the Denver Area Council Advancement Committee here with us this evening. Richard Hall's our key presenter, and we're going to go over all the wonderful information about advancement. So again, for people just tuning in, welcome to Denver Area Council's Scouts BSA virtual roundtable for Scouts BSA leaders. This is our third of our series. Next month, we are going to do one on camping and have the Denver Area Council Camping Committee at it. For people logging in, make sure you, in your comment section, put your name and your unit number. And so we know who's participating. Feel free to like it so we can get some spread in there. And again, if you have questions due to our format and the presentation that we're going to do tonight, we're unable to do live questions and respond to the comments live as we're doing this. So again, put your comments in there. We'll scrounge through there and get going. Again, we're going to be kicking it off here in about 3 minutes to get going. So again, this is our third of our virtual roundtables for Scouts BSA leaders. We've been averaging about 400 people watching these videos throughout the time within a week of posting, and the feedback has been positive as we've been able to provide some great information to unit leaders as they continue the scouting program during the COVID time. We're pretty excited about it. Again, make sure that you guys post your name and unit number in the comment section so we can know who's participating with us here tonight. Again, we'll be answering questions here back to you as soon as we can get to them. And again, due to our format that we're using tonight, it makes it a little difficult to do it live. So again, we're going to start here in about 1.5 minutes. And again, thank you for being here tonight. It's exciting, all the stuff that's been going on. Scouting for Food's been huge. I think we have just over 60 units participating in that. We're doing some great things going on there. Again, if you're participating and your unit's doing something cool in scouting, please post it, let us know so we can figure out and send that out as a best practice. We're going to be starting here in just about 1 minute. Again, my name's Dave Whitner. I'm the Director of Sport Services for the Denver Area Council, and this is our third of our virtual roundtable series on advancement. Richard Hall will be our guest presenter. Again, he's going to highlight some of the important stuff about advancement in the Denver Area Council and the BSA. We're about 30 seconds out. All right, good evening and welcome. And again, this is the Denver Council's Scouts BSA Virtual Roundtable. I'm Dave Whitner, the Director of Support Services for the Denver Council, and been kind of the champion for the Scouts BSA Virtual Roundtable meetings. It's our third one. It's going to be on advancement. Next month, we're going to have our camping team out and discuss camping options for this thing. In the comments section, please list your name and unit number. If you have a great idea that you'd like to see for a virtual roundtable, put that idea in there. We'd like to see it. Due to our format this evening, we're not going to have access to live question and answers. But again, if you have questions over advancement or something, feel free to put it in there and we'll try and get to it. We have Richard Hall with us from the Advancement Committee, and he'll be our guest presenter here to get going. So let's get started. I have the flag behind me. So if you could please give the Scout sign and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, too. And let's do the Scout sign. We'll do the Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And we'll do the Scout law. The Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. As with all Scout meetings, we like to take a BSA safety moment. And I'd like to just talk real quick about the annual health and medical records, the AHMR. And with COVID and things going on, it's really important that units are following these. Kind of the best practices out there is for units to set a deadline and collect the health forms on an annual basis. And this makes it easier for when you go to summer camp, and then you have them available to use with you at troop meetings if someone were to get hurt and with troop campouts. Back in the day when I was a scout, my Scoutmaster had, we called it the football, kind of like the nuclear football. And that had all the important stuff for our unit and for any activity that we would go on. We'd have our health forms in there, and we'd also have all sorts of other important contact information for the trip plan, and all the other stuff. When you get the health forms, it's great to have one volunteer, one person to be in charge of these for the unit. They need to become familiar with them. There's lots of great information on the national website. There's a FAQ, and again, that goes through. And it's pretty simple to go through and just make sure all the sections are completed, including the signatures. Check the dates on the form to make sure they've been completed within the last year. And again, that's why I strongly encourage units to have every March we turn in and get new medical forms together. Be alert and review for the participants for any information that's missing, conflicting, or out of sync with other sections on there. And again, before you go on a camp out or an activity, it's probably pretty important to ask the participants, especially if your form's almost a year ago, is there anything that you need to update on this? Have you had any health concerns? Have you been to the hospital, been to the doctor for anything, added any new medications that don't reflect on that? And that's all great information to go ahead in there. So again, for most campouts under 72 hours, you need Part A and Part B. And then if you're going on something that's longer than 72 hours, and that 72 hours might be over 2 weekends or stuff, you need to complete Part C, the medical form. Again, all this information's on scouting.org, and it's a great resource for you to look at and be a part of. So again, that concludes our safety moment. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Richard Hall, and he can take over the presentation.
So good night, good afternoon, everybody, evening. We're going to cover, as Dave said, advancement. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to introduce everyone to who makes up the Council Advancement Committee. Our chair is Andre, and then hopefully one name on there should be familiar with you because the district chair, the district advancement chair from every district is also a member of the Council Advancement Committee. In addition to that, we have a meritorious awards chair, which is a new person in that position, Dan Deneen. We have a special needs specialist, Dick Reynolds, and Dave Whitner, the Director of Sports Service, is also a member of the Council Advancement Committee. So BSA has a mission statement. The scouting program and advancement is based on education. Advancement is only one of 8 methods and thus is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. Exponential learning is based on doing of activities that are a natural outcome of a unit's well-rounded program. The goal is total, well-rounded development of a youth who then are able to exhibit the responsibility, self-reliance, and caring for themselves and others. So the mission statement is, the mission of the Boy Scouts of America is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout oath and law. The aims, the mission of the Boy Scouts is completed with the aims. And the scouting program has specific objectives, commonly referred to as the aims of scouting. They are character development, leadership development, citizenship training, and personal fitness. Leadership training is also one of the scouting 8 methods contributing to both good character and good citizenship. There are 8 methods of scouting, but tonight we're only talking about one of those, and that is advancement. The method by which the aims are achieved are listed below. Like I said, just for advancement. So the scouting provides a series of surmountable obstacles and steps in overcoming them through advancement method. The scout plans their advancement and progresses at their own pace. As they meet each challenge, the scout is rewarded for each achievement, which helps them gain self-confidence. The steps in advancement system helps the scout grow in self-reliance and the ability to help others. So the first scouting program we're going to go over is Cub Scouts. And Cub Scouts are probably the easiest to do because their standard is, have they done their best? So Cub Masters, pack committees may work together to determine appropriate substitutions that are consistent with Cub Scouting, showing that they can do their best. For example, elective requirements could take the place of those required, or in consultation with parents, other minor adjustments representing similar challenges could be made. Where more than this is required for the youth to advance. When applications must be made for alternative requirements, we'll get into show how that's done. So Cub Scouts are pretty easy. Have they done their best? Unfortunately, and Boy Scouts, the expectations are to meet the requirements exactly as they are stated. There is no provision for simply doing one's best, as there is in Cub Scouting. It's important to remember, though, that we don't read into the requirement what isn't there. For example, if a requirement says something must be written, it could be written into a computer or even spoken, recorded, and transcribed by somebody else. If we say something must be discussed, it could be discussed through a parent who has learned to understand a child's speech, who is not as clear as yours and mine. If they have questions, be sure to reach out to our special needs, Dick Reynolds, or there's also a national web email address. It's disabilities.awareness@scouting.org. And probably the document that's most near and dear to my heart, and probably the least read document, is the Guide to Advancement. The Guide to Advancement is published it's updated every 2 years on an annual cycle. So in 2021, the document will be updated. And from what I understand is that in 2021, it will only be available electronic. Currently, you can purchase it at the Scout Shop, or you can download it at scouting.org/advancement. Every question that you need to answer about advancement is in this book. If your unit doesn't have a copy of this, I would highly recommend either downloading it and printing it out or purchasing it at the Scout Shop. So tonight, these are kind of the things we're going to go over. Advancement is a mean, not an ends. And you'll see abbreviations. We make references to the Guide to Advancement, and it's abbreviated GTA, and then the section number. One of the problems that we confront in the Advancement Committee is that we have problems with units actually recording and reporting their advancements. We get units who tell us that that's the council's job, it's the district's job. If you read the guide to the advancement, it specifically outlines that as the unit's responsibility to record those advancements. And then there's also lots of educational opportunities available, and they're listed there. And everything to do with advancement, again, is on www.scouting.org/advancements. And if you notice, when you go to the scout shop to buy rank advancements, they ask for a internet advancement report, or they ask to see scout book. The reason they do that is because all badge of ranks and merit badges and eagle palms and venturer awards are restricted items. So they want to make sure that the unit have properly recorded those advancements so that the scout gets the proper credit. So again, we'll talk about reporting is a requirement of the Boy Scouts of America, and the Guide to Advancement reference is there. So how do you record and report advancements? There's several different ways. First way is the internet advancement. This is different from Scout Book, even though the URL looks very closely to Scout Book. This is different. This is Internet Advancement 2.0. This website has been redone. It's not the old clunky, text-based what Internet Advancement 1 was. So this has been updated, and all Scout records, one way or the other, end up in this database. The second way that you can record is through the use of the Scout Book. Scout Book used to charge. Hopefully everybody knows that the BSA bought the Scout Book program, and it is now offered for free to all units. There are other ways, and there's lots of third-party software out there. Packmaster, Troopmaster are probably the most popular, but there are tons of different methods that units use to record advancements. But of all the different methods of recording advancement, the one that is not a proper method of recording and reporting your advancement is simply dropping off an advancement report at the scout shop or at the customer service center and expect somebody else to enter your unit's advancement. I hope everybody understands that there's been pretty significant cuts at council. They simply do not have the staff to enter your unit's advancements. You really need to be, your unit really needs to be taking care of that themselves. So if anybody hasn't been to the new Internet Advancement, here's a little screenshot of what the new Internet Advancement looks like, at least the opening screen. And by default, each unit's key 3, which is the Cub Master, Scout Master, Committee Chair, or the Chartered Org Rep, will have access to Internet Advancement. One of these 3 people can then delegate access to other members of the unit. And we'll go through that in a minute to set up a unit advancement chair. So we highly recommend that every unit has a designated unit advancement chair. There's lots of benefits to it. It helps reduce work on the key 3. It helps record the Scouts advancements. And this is extremely important now that we're doing lots of Eagle extensions. And one of the requirements is that the Scouts advancement record has to be up to date and correct in order to process his Eagle application. I've gotten requests, and when I pull the Scouts records, he has absolutely nothing. He has earned no rank. He has earned no merit badges. Nothing has been recorded. Then the unit is forced to go back and rebuild that Scouts records. And if he lost a merit badge, a blue card, then he's going to have to retake it because there's no proof he's been. So if the units help the Scouts by keeping their records up to date, it will pay off in the end. Another reason why you should have a unit committee chair is so when the parents have questions about advancement, instead of taking the time of the Scoutmaster, the Cub Master, or the committee chair up at meetings, they can go and talk to the advancement chair, who will have a better knowledge of what's required and why Johnny isn't advancing. And kind of a selfish reason is that, you know, we keep an eye on units to see how they're doing. And one of the key indicators of how a unit's doing, how the unit's health is advancement. If we see units out there who are not making any advancements, you know, that's a red flag that something's going on with that unit, that we need to contact them. So if we have a unit advancement chair that we can contact, we can ask, hey, what's going on with your unit? How come we haven't recorded? And again, it's workload that's taken off of the Scoutmaster and the committee chair, who don't have to answer our calls. And so when you get ready to set up your unit advancement chair, again, one of the key three needs to do this, and you log on to my.scouting. And here is an example of my troop 317, but you'll be presented with a very similar screen. And one of the options will be the organizational security manager. You'll click on that and it'll take you to this screen. And you can see the functional positions that can be delegated. They are the COR, Key 3 delegate, registrations inquiry, unit advancement chair, unit training chair, and a youth protection champion. One of the unfortunate things about the user interface in the Scout book is it really isn't clear. But what you need to do is just move your cursor over the text of a unit where it says unit advancement chair, click on it, and it'll open up another screen. In the example, I used the unit training chair because Norm Breath is already listed as our advancement chair. But then you'll be presented with this screen, and in the middle of the screen on the right, there's a green plus. If you click on the green plus, it'll open up a box where you can type in a person's name, and then they will be delegated to have access to internet advancement. They'll be able to then go enter advancements. They'll be able to end camping nights. They'll end up being able to enter service project times. So it's highly beneficial that units designate somebody as the unit advancement chair to offload some of the work. So if you've never seen Scout book, I know there's lots of units who don't want to use Scout book, but there's lots of demos out there. And there's a URL here that you can go to, and they have it set up to where you can be a Cub Master, you can be a Scout Master, you can be a committee member, you can be a parent, and it has lots of different examples of what's available to you in each one of those roles. And there's a tremendous help available at discussions.scouting.org. There is a Scout Book Users Advisory Committee, and the folks that are on that advisory committee have a direct link to the developers of Scout Book, and they answer your questions very promptly. The only word of caution is it's like any other forum. If you ask a very broad question, you're going to get 15 people's interpretation of what you are really asking. So if you could focus your questions down to what you really want, then that's the best method of getting an answer. The other popular software here is Troopmaster, with Packmaster's the same thing. But this is a third-party software. They are not associated or connected to the BSA. So when you record advancements in Troopmaster, that data is not automatically synced like it is in Scout Book to the Internet Advancement Database. This third-party software requires an additional step. You have to export the software. You have to export your advancements out of Troopmaster and then import them into Scout Book or Internet Advancement. And Troopmaster has a URL that has all the instructions on how that is done. So we'll go over, this is kind of tough because there's no feedbacks, but we'll go over some Q&As. So what are the requirements for a board of review? So a board of review must consist of no fewer than 3 members and no more than 6. each board member must be at least 21 years of age. So I've heard of stories where units think that it would be a really good idea to let scouts sit on other scouts' board of review. As you can see, this is clearly prohibited by the Guide to Advancement. The other thing that takes a lot of units by surprise is unit leaders, and those are scoutmasters, and assistants, which are assistant scoutmasters, shall not serve on a board of review for a scout in their own unit. For a scout in another unit, they can sit on the board of review, but they cannot do it for their own unit. And that's obvious because who spends the most time with that scout? Who has the most intimate knowledge of those scouts and may be a little biased when it comes to the point of board of review? Who goes on camping? Who teaches rank? Who teaches merit badges? It's the scoutmaster and assistant scoutmasters. So for that reason, to remove any bias, the Boy Scouts specifically prohibit them from being on boards of review. Also prohibited are parents, guardians, and relatives shall not serve on a board of review for their child. Likewise, the candidate or the candidate's parents, guardians, or relatives shall have no part in selecting any board member. And if you want to fact check me, the reference to Guide to Advancement 8.003 Composition of Board Review is where you will find all of these details. Now, those were from Tenderfoot through Life. Once you get to Eagle, the Eagle Boards of Review have their own separate requirements. At least one member of an Eagle Board of Review must be a district representative, must serve on the board. The district representative must be a member of the district advancement team. There's several reasons for this, but one, these people have lots of experience in doing Eagle Board of Review. If something goes sideways in the board of review, these district members understand what's required to suspend the board of review and what's required to reconvene. Because as you'll see later down, a scout only gets one Eagle board of review. It's either pass or fail. There's not a retry. So the other important thing is an Eagle board of review shall not occur until after the council has verified the application. The council needs to verify all of the time and rank, all of the merit badges, time and service, all of that needs to be verified before you can hold a Eagle board of review. And a board of review cannot be denied or postponed due to unresponsive references. The only thing we can ask the Eagle Scout candidate to do is to provide a name of references. He's not required to follow up with them. He's not required to find out how come they never sent him back. Once he provided the name and sent the letters out, that's the end of his involvement in gathering references. There is, at the link URL there is the Denver Area Council's recommended Eagle Scout reference letter. And like I mentioned before, you can only have one Eagle board of review. And then after the scout passes the Eagle board of review, the Eagle medal and patches must not be given, nor shall a court of honor be held until after the certification is received from National. National has to certify that Eagle Scout before you actually present it to him. And then the date of his Eagle Scout board of review will be the date of his Eagle Scout. So may Eagle board of review reference letters be given to the scouts after the board of review. I know there's some units out there who think it's a nice memento, a little bit of memory, a little bit of history of the scout, but Guide to Advancement says no. So the completed references, response of any kind, are property of the council and are confidential. The only review board members and those officials with specific needs may see them. Their responses are not to be viewed by or returned to the scout. Doing so could discourage the submission of negative information. For the same reason, those providing references do not have the option of giving references directly to the scouts and shall not be given an option to waive confidentiality. Once a review has been held or an appeal process conducted, responses shall be returned to the council, or they will be destroyed after the Eagle Scout credentials are released or an appeal is concluded. This is another reason why you want to have a district advancement member with you. The district advancement member will collect those reference letters and take them with him when the Eagle Border Review is over with. So again, here's the references for this. So I don't know if you have familiarity with filling out Eagle applications, but what I've seen is that a scout sits in one chair, an advancement chair sits in the other one, and the advancement chair reads out, well, you earned scout on this date, and the scout pencils it in on the Eagle application. You've earned this merit badge on this date. But Scout Book automates this for you. If you go to the individual scout's record and then click on reports, there is a report, an Eagle application. It will actually produce a editable PDF, and it will populate all of the fields that have been entered in Scout Book. So all of the time and service, all of the merit badges, all of the rank requirements will all be pre-populated in that, and it makes it a lot nicer than having to handwrite everything in. One of the other functions that the Council Advancement Committee does is we award, some of them we award, some of them we recommend to national that are awarded, and they're life-saving and meritorious award actions. Both adults and scouts can earn these. One of the big problems we have is that we don't, a lot of these things we hear about third hand. There was recently a young Cub Scout in my district who saved his younger brother from choking on chicken. The only way we found out about it is that it was on local news, and somebody called us and said, hey, did you see that scout on the news? So if you know of anybody or any incidences where you think a scout should be recognized, we highly recommend that you reach out to either your district advancement chair or our meritorious awards chair, Dan Deneen, and get in contact with them, and they'll help you work through the paperwork or work for the scout and get the award that he needs. And the other thing we do is we work with scouts with special needs. So virtually every scout unit at one time or another will have an opportunity to serve youth with special needs. In fact, in a recent study in the Midwest, we found 15% of memberships had some sort of disability requiring special attention or consideration from the leaders. A scout who is qualified to register beyond the normal age of eligibility for their program, members' registration in this way may remain a Cub Scout even though he or she has turned 11, may remain a Boy Scout even though he or she has turned 18 or older, and stay in venturing their Sea Scouts beyond 20. And there are a lot of possible criteria that the scouts could be eligible for special needs. And here's a list of only a brief list of the criteria that may apply for a scout to get designated as special needs. And one of the things that's required, and I know most people don't realize that registration beyond the age of eligibility actually means special needs, but that's the verbiage that's used in the Guide to Advancement. So it takes a few things. It takes a letter from the parent guardian describing the disability. It takes a completed youth application or proof of current membership. It takes a signed BSA Health Med Form, all parts A, B, and C. A signed statement from a qualified health professional attesting to the nature of the disability, its severity, and its permanent limitations connected with it. A letter from the unit leader advocating and supporting the registration, and any other supporting documentation such as individual education plan, treatment summary, etc., are all helpful in the decision process of determining eligibility for that scout and becoming special needs. And again, Dick Reynolds is the special needs coordinator for the Denver Area Council website. So what some of the things that can happen when you end up becoming designated as special needs is that you can request alternate merit badges. You know, there's 13, currently there's 13 Eagle required merit badges. But if a scout is physically or mentally unable to complete those, they can make a request to have a different merit badge substituted for one of the Eagle required. If you have a scout in your unit that is special needs, there's lots of references that you can look for. And here's just a short list of them. But again, you know, reach out to Dick Reynolds on and he can help you with all of the special needs, or your district advancement chair. So the last thing we're going to cover here is that probably a lot of you heard there is a new merit badge coming. This will be the 14th required Eagle merit badge, and it's diversity, equality, and inclusion, DE&I. So in December 2020, the DE&I Scout through first class rank requirements and DE&I Eagle required merit badge requirements will be shared with local councils. Starting January 1st, 2021, the DE&I merit badges may be earned by scouts. Starting May 1st, 2021, DE&I rank requirements and DE&I Eagle requirement merit badges become mandatory. This means that there's one more Eagle required merit badge, making a total of 14, but the total number of merit badges required for Eagle will stay at 21. And the thing to take note of is that there will be no grandfathering. The only way a Life Scout will be grandfathered is that come May 1st, 2021, they have every Eagle Scout requirement completed except their Eagle Board of Review. If they're not at that point by May 1st, 2021, they will be required to earn this additional merit badges. And with that, all I have left is questions.
So again, with our format here this evening, we're not able to take questions live, and we're going to go through there. So truly, you're going to be able to put your questions in the comment section, and we'll try and get to them and get to you. It's important to leave your name and a unit number, and we should be able to find you from there. And again, we'll try and post some of these as we go through there. That's pretty much the highlight of our advancement committee. Thank you, Richard, and our advancement committee for going through that. Again, I'd just like to reiterate what Richard said, that Guide to Advancement is the most important book that we have, other than the Scout's handbook with information in there. All the questions on there. How do you define Scout spirit? What's attendance supposed to be? All the guidelines for those tricky advancement questions in your unit are all covered in that book. So again, it probably needs to be a part of your unit. Your advancement chairman should have that for your unit, should read it, know it. They should go through and highlight the key parts with your Scoutmasters and unit leaders in there who are actually working with you. The merit badge, blue card process is outlined in there. And again, it's all critical steps that need to be taken in place. And it's unfortunately the kids that get punished when all those steps aren't taken in the right way. We can do a lot to fix them. The other highlight that I'd walk away is, again, for the kids that are special needs and need to be registered beyond their age of eligibility, start that process sooner rather than later. It's better to start it when the kid joins scouting is at 13, 12, 13, 14 years of age, rather than trying to do something about it when they're 17 and a half or 2 days prior to their 18th birthday, because a lot of times you won't have enough time to get those things done. So again, a lot of key information in that advancement guide. And again, I think that's really worth your investment. Print it out every 2 years, carry it with you, look around through it, and again, look through it as you go through things. So that concludes this evening's virtual roundtable. Thank you for joining us. And I look forward to our next one, which the camping will be handling. Thank you very much.